Find out what is happening at the library, from virtual programming to fun new services. Learn tips, tricks, and discover what is trending in the world of books and reading. Hear recommendations on books, movies, TV shows, and so much more. This is In the Stacks at Mustang Library.
Today we're going to learn a little bit about how to access some classes online through the Scottsdale Library website. So at the top left of your page, Scottsdale Public Library, underneath there's the Browse tab, so we're going to tap on that, and we're going to go down to Learning and Research. And this next page brings up different topics: auto and transportation, business and finance. If you were to tap those boxes, it brings up the databases that relate to that topic. For today's purposes, we're going to go to Consumer Help, and you'll see there are two databases: Consumer Reports and Universal Class. We're going to focus on Universal Class because that's where all of these online courses are. So let's select it, and I have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in, and here we have it. So now I've already, as you can see, I've already got some classes that I've started to take, all about herbs. And the second one is wildlife rehabilitation. Let's go to the top of this page though, and let's look at Browse Courses. And that's going to bring up all the different topics with all the different databases related. You could do personal development, and it shows you confidence building, habits of millionaires, interpersonal communication. And for today's teaching moment, we are going to go into crafts and hobbies. And it gives you popular courses as a suggestion: candle making, cake decorating. And we're going to keep scrolling down until we get to this green box, and it tells you exactly what courses they do offer within the arts, crafts, and hobbies topic. So let's go to gardening. And let's do bird watching. When you bring this class up, it says that there are 11 classes, 11 lessons, 23 exams and assignments, and the whole class should take about 5 hours, and you would get a half of a continuing credit for this particular class. So let's do join this course, and it gives you the opportunity to join it as the join certificate class or join the video only course. For today's purposes, we're just going to do the join video only course, but you can do the certificate class if you'd like. So I'm going to click on join video only course. Scroll down a little bit farther. You want to again confirm that that's what you're going to choose. And there is our class, Bird Watching 101, Food Feeders and Behavior. So let's enter the course. And you can scroll down a little bit more to see what the different lessons are. Lesson 1 is the joys of bird watching. 2 is where to find the birds. There you have it. Scrolling on down. Let's do one more class. My classes, we're going to go to Browse Courses, Crafts and Hobbies, and let's join cake decorating. 18 lessons, join this course. Again, I'm going to just choose the join video only course. Here we go. And again, if you scroll down the page, it shows you the different lessons: cake decorating tools and workspace, baking your first cake, lesson number 5, basic cake decorating recipes, and so on. So for all you bird watchers and cake decorators, enjoy Universal Class.
Hello everyone. On the last episode of In the Stacks, we talked about some mystery book awards. This week, we will be talking about some upcoming book awards that should be on everyone's radar. Today, I will briefly talk about 3 book awards: the Andrew Carnegie Medals for Excellence in Fiction and Nonfiction, the Booker Prizes, and the National Book Awards. First up, the Andrew Carnegie Medals. This award was established in 2012 to recognize the best fiction and nonfiction books. There are 2 winners, one for fiction and one for nonfiction, and the winners receive $5,000. The long list of nominees was announced last month and includes 46 titles, 26 fiction and 20 nonfiction. The 6-title shortlist will be announced today, November 17th, and the 2 medal winners will be announced on February 4th, 2021. The 2 winners last year were Lost Children Archive by Valeria Luiselli for fiction and Midnight in Chernobyl by Adam Higginbotham for nonfiction. Now on to the 2021 Andrew Carnegie Medals long list. As there are currently 46 titles nominated, I will just highlight a few titles. Memorial by Brian Washington, Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Jassi, and The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. To see the complete list of nominees, visit the link on this slide. The Booker Prize. It was launched in 1969 to award the best novel of the year. The winner receives £50,000, and the 6 shortlisted authors receive £2,500. The Booker Prize long list typically consists of 12 to 13 books and was announced this past July. The 6-title shortlist was announced in September, and the winner will be selected on November 19th. Last year was a bit controversial with the Booker Prize winners. Yes, winners, plural. The Booker Prize announced a shocking twist. The 2019 award would be shared by Margaret Atwood for The Testaments and Bernadine Evaristo for Girl, Woman, Other. In the history of the Booker Prize, the award has been shared twice before, first in 1974 and then in 1992. Now on to the 2020 Booker Prize shortlist. And the nominees are The New Wilderness by Diane Cook, This Mournable Body by Tsitsi Dangarimga, Burnt Sugar by Avni Doshi, The Shadow King by Mayaza Mingiste, Shuggy Brain by Douglas Stewart, and Real Life by Brandon Taylor. The National Book Awards. They were established in 1950 and currently honor the best books in 5 categories: fiction, nonfiction, poetry, translated literature, and young people's literature. Each finalist receives a prize of $1,000, and the winners of each category receive $10,000. The National Book Award long list was announced in September, with 10 titles nominated per category. The finalists were announced in October, which narrows it down to 5 titles per category. The winners will be announced for each category tomorrow, on November 18th. The winners of last year's National Book Awards are, for fiction, Trust Exercise by Susan Choi, for nonfiction, The Yellow House by Sarah M. Broom, for poetry, Sightlines by Arthur Z., for translated literature, Homecoming by Baron Weckenheim, for young people's literature, 1919, The Year That Changed America by Martin W. Sandler. Now on to the National Book Awards 2020 finalists. I will only be highlighting a few of the nominees, and the complete list can be found on nationalbook.org. And the nominees are Leave the World Behind by Ruman Alam, The Dead Are Rising, The Life of Malcolm X by Tamara and Les Payne, Post-Colonial Love Poem by Natalie Diaz, High as the Waters Rise by Anya Kampmann, King and Dragonflies by Kaysen Callender, and We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi. Now I know what you're thinking, yeah, book awards are cool, but I want to vote for my favorite books this year. Well, you can. Every year, the online book community Goodreads hosts their Goodreads Choice Awards. The Goodreads Choice Awards is a yearly award program, first launched on Goodreads in 2009, where users get to vote for their favorite books of the year in 20 different categories, including romance, science fiction, poetry, humor, and more. The final voting round is occurring right now until November 30th, and the winners will be announced on December 8th. So cast your votes while you can. And while you're there, be sure to follow the Scottsdale Public Library Goodreads page where we post new staff reviews every week. Just as a reminder, the Andrew Carnegie Awards shortlist will be announced today. The National Book Award winners will be announced tomorrow, and the Booker Prize winner will be announced on Thursday. Also, be on the lookout for the Goodreads Choice Award winners in December and the Andrew Carnegie Award winners in February 2021. And that is a wrap on the upcoming book awards. Be sure to check out these titles and more at the Scottsdale Public Library. Happy reading!
Established in 1919, Children's Book Week is the annual celebration of books for young people and the joy of reading. This year, Children's Book Week was celebrated twice, first in May and again in November. To mark the event, we have asked library staff to tell us about their favorite children's books. Let's see what they have to say.
I'm Luisa, and hello. I'm here to talk about a couple of my favorite children's books. This one has a special place in my heart. It's Charlotte's Web by E.B. White and illustrated beautifully by Garth Williams. It's been around forever, and I got it as a birthday gift many years ago. It was my first chapter book. I absolutely loved the thought that I was old enough to have a chapter book. Loved it. I devoured the book, and it's still been a favorite of mine even as these years go past. As you know, the story is about a little girl, Fern, who's trying to figure a way to keep her beautiful pet pig, Wilbur, from going to slaughter. The way that this turns out is wonderful. Wilbur, of course, is saved by the very clever spider, Charlotte. And you get to see some wonderful things here, too. This book is terrific. This is another book that I wanted to share with you. It's quite a bit newer, but it's The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick. It actually won the Caldecott Medal for illustrations in 2008. It was the first novel to be awarded such because Caldecotts are usually awarded to picture books. This is not a picture book. It looks very large, but do not be dismayed. It is a wonderful story about a little boy, Hugo, who is found himself orphaned in a railway station in Paris in 1931. He comes upon a man who runs a toy shop and repair shop and gets interested in finding him. There's also an amazing automaton that his papa has left to him that he's trying to figure out how to repair with the help of the man. Since I love movies, this is a special treat because the toy repair man is actually Georges Méliès, and he's known for being an early French illusionist and filmmaker. If you can see this picture, this is from one of his favorite and famous movies. It's A Trip to the Moon. This is a wonderful book, so indeed, give this one a try, especially if you love a great story and ties into movies. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alan, and I work at the Scottsdale Library, and I'm here to talk about one of my favorite books that I read when I was little, called James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. This story is about a little boy named James. At the beginning of the story, he has an unfortunate accident and has to go live with his two mean aunts. After a short while, he meets a magic man and something miraculous happens. He ends up going on an adventure and making a lot of new friends. I really liked this book when I was little because all of James's new friends really liked him for who he was and all the good ideas he had. They really did a good job of supporting him and making him feel important. This was also a really good book because there's lots of singing and dancing and silliness along with some really interesting people that he comes across. I really suggest that you take a look at James and the Giant Peach for a new good story. And if you happen to like James and the Giant Peach, this author, Roald Dahl, has written a bunch of other books for kids as well. One of my other favorites is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You might have heard of it. So when you get a chance, come on down to the library and see if we have any more of his books. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Medina, and I'm the branch manager at Mustang Library. Today I'd like to share one of my favorite children's books with you. So I have chosen No David by David Shannon. It's a lovely and charming book. It's super colorful with lots of fun illustrations. When I first saw it, I thought it was very cute, but I didn't really understand the book until my son was 3 or 4 years old, and I was spending a lot of time home alone with him. This is a great book to read right now during COVID, because I think we're all experiencing some of the same things. So this book starts out with the mom standing there with hands on hips, no David. So something you might, a little boy or a girl might hear all day long. Here he is. David's mom always said, no David. He's drawing on the board. So the illustrations are so humorous. This is one of our favorites. When you look back, says, come back here, David. So apparently he's escaped the house without his clothes on. That goes through his whole day, splashing, throwing toys, stomping mud into the house. Another one of our favorites is this one. Stop that this instant. This always makes them laugh and lots of fun. So the nice part about the story, it goes through the whole day with lots of things that they probably shouldn't be doing, but when you get to the end, it has a lovely ending where mom says, yes, David, I love you. So she reassures him that no matter what happens during the day, at the end of the day, she loves him. Enjoy.
Hello, I'd like to share with you one of my favorite books that I would read to my daughter when she was a toddler. It's called Harriet, You'll Drive Me Wild by Mem Fox. This book is for all the moms out there dealing with the frustrating long days of loving and caring for your toddler. This story is definitely for you. Harriet is a toddler. She is curious about her world and always seems to create messes and mayhem in her path. Harriet means well, but her actions create a whirlwind of accidents that follow her throughout the day. Each time she creates a mess, her mother calmly responds, Harriet, my darling child. Oh, Harriet, you'll drive me wild. From knocking over her purple grape juice onto the dog to accidentally ripping open her feather pillow during nap time, Harriet's mom finally reaches her breaking point. Tenderness to turmoil, this book will ring true for parents and the children they love too. Harriet, you'll drive me wild. I have another book I'd like to share with you. This picture book is a wonderful collection of princesses, but they're not ordinary princesses. These are the Truly Brave Princesses by Dolores Brown and Soja Wimmer. The Truly Brave Princesses. Well, princesses, on more than one occasion, you probably have seen one. Maybe you just didn't realize she was a princess, because at that moment, she wasn't wearing her crown. But if you open your eyes wide enough and open your heart, you will discover there are more princesses than you ever imagined. Maybe she's a neighbor. Maybe she's a schoolmate. Or maybe she's even the cashier at your local supermarket. Maybe she's even on the subway you ride or the bus you take. You might discover a little princess there. From now on, you will realize that wherever you go, there are many, many princesses. There is always one much closer than you think. This book is wonderfully illustrated. It depicts many cultures and ages and occupations. It is a great book to share with that special one in your life. Let me show you a couple of my favorite princesses. This is Princess Kristen. Princess Kristen is 7 years old. She has exactly 47 freckles. She has a lazy eye, but her slam dunk is terrific when she plays basketball. When she grows up, Princess Kristen wants to be a superheroine. She loves reading books about magic and climbing to the highest point of her favorite tree to see beyond the horizon. And you can see this beautiful illustration of her sitting on the topmost branch of the tree, being a superheroine. Now that's Princess Kristen. I'd like to share with you one other of my favorite princesses. This is Princess Dolores, and she's 14 years old. Princess Dolores wants to be a singer when she grows up. She loves going to the dog shelter to help with feeding and walking the abandoned dogs. Timo is one of her favorite dogs. Princess Dolores is very popular among her friends. She has a very pretty voice, and when she plays the guitar and sings, everyone is mesmerized. This is the story of the truly brave princesses, one of my favorites. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Chuck the Librarian, and I'm here to tell you about one of my favorite kids' books of all time. You've probably read this, or it's been read to you. It's called Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type, and it's by Doreen Cronin, and pictures are by Betsy Lewin. And I love this book. It is a wonderful story about some cows that get some funny ideas in their head that cause some conflict with their farmer, and then the way that they work it out using typewriters and letters to each other. It's pretty wonderful. I read it to my sons multiple times. I've used it in story times. One of my all-time favorite kids' books. Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. Hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I did.
Hello, my name is Tiffany, and I am going to introduce you to one of my favorite picture books today, called Poco and the Drum by Matthew Forsyth. This is what happens when one small frog gets a drum, and many adventures follow. Would you like to read a few pages with me? Okay. It starts out with Poco's parents. The biggest mistake Poco's parents ever made was giving her a drum. They had made mistakes before, like the slingshot, and the llama, and the balloon. But the drum was the biggest mistake. Would you like to find out more about what happens when Poco gets her drum? Okay, then come to the library and check out Poco and the Drum by Matthew Forsyth.
Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree came by special delivery, full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. And so begins my favorite book, Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree, written and illustrated by Robert Barry. Now this was originally published in 1963, and over the years it has gone through a number of changes. It started out looking something like this, and it originally had grayscale with green highlights illustrations. And of course over the years they make it bigger and better, and they do lots of snazzy things with it, and now it has more colorized illustrations. But no matter which format you happen to pick up, it is a lovely book. And what I love most about it is its bouncy, poetic format throughout the whole book. And in this story, it brings together not only people, but also a whole forest of critters. And it was kind of ahead of its time because it tackled such issues as recycling and conservation. Now, if you truly love this book, you can also look for the associated film that they produced back in 1995, which also starred Jim Henson's Muppets, and also Robert Downey Jr. as Mr. Willoughby. It's kind of hard to find though. But no matter whether you watch it or you read it, it is sure to become your newest holiday timeless classic. So pick up Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree.
And now, our extra special guest, the Scottsdale Public Library Director.
Hi everyone, my name's Kira Peters and I'm the Scottsdale Public Library Director. My favorite, or actually I should say one of my favorite children's books, sorry for the moving camera, is Love You Forever by Robert Munsch, right here. This is one of my favorites. And I think it's one of my favorites because I am a mother of 3. I've got 2 grown-up kids and 1 10-year-old, and this is a book that I have read to each of my children, and every time I read it, I have a hard time getting through it without crying. It covers just what it feels like to be a mom, watching your kids grow up all the way into adulthood and that special bond that you have with your kids. So it's just something that I've always cherished. I always make sure to have a copy of it in my house. And my 10-year-old still enjoys reading this book in the evening when I get home from a busy day of work. It's wonderful to curl up and read this book. So again, my favorite children's book, and one that has been a favorite of mine forever, is this book right here, Love You Forever by Robert Munsch. So thank you so much, and I hope everyone is well.
And that's a wrap on this week's edition of In the Stacks. Tune in next Tuesday at 1 p.m. for Get Lit at Civic Center Library. We'll be back again December 1st with our resident movie buff talking about the best movies of the year. We'll also show you how to make an upcycled craft, as well as how to use a new library service. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.